Stream starting soon, in only 10 seconds. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome, welcome. We're going to start right now with our session, this class about the male and female reproductive system. Female and male reproductive system. Let's go. Okay. I'm going to share right now. You're watching in the screen the male and female reproductive system. That's our topic for today. Remember, if you are not part of the class, you can be part of my class every moment and every time you want. This moment, I'm getting ready to speak about the male and the female reproductive system. As you know, the reproductive system it's very important for the human body. Imagine all the living organisms that exist. They cannot exist without the human body, the sexual reproductive system. It's not possible. Now, all the organisms that exist in the earth have developed in different ways with basically two kind of systems, the asexual and the sexual kind of system. And as you know, well, I'm having some troubles here. Wait a second. Yeah, right, good. As I was saying, all the living organisms have sexual or asexual reproduction. But now the sexual reproduction is a little bit complex. It involves two different organisms, a male and a female. And then it involves very complex structures that everything must be in order to finally get an offspring. In the case of some animals, the sexual reproduction it's just to get one baby. But there are other organisms that are more effective in the reproduction and they can get more offsprings. That's the case of the dog, for example. They can have probably 4, 5, 6, 7 puppies or even more. The same case is with the pig and many other animals that produce several babies. But now, let's speak about the male and the female reproductive system. Basically, in the case of human, these systems are very important because they give the opportunity to our human race to continue the reproduction of our species. Without the reproduction, of course, that we had disappeared from this planet a long time ago. And the two organs, the two systems that work in this process are the male and female systems. I don't want to take too much time in this because it's a topic that most of you already understand. But I want to focus basically in the page 108, page 109 of your science book. I have some questions here that it's important to solve them. What is reproduction? Well, the human reproduction, in general terms, the reproduction is the process by which two or more organisms perpetuate the species by sexual or asexual contact. In easy words, no more complications, no more definitions, easy words, that's it. Now, the human reproduction is a little bit more complex. As many mammals, we have different organs involved together for this. So that drives me to the second question. How is the human reproduction? Well, the human reproduction is sexual. It's not asexual, it's sexual. We need two organisms together to create a new offspring. It's sexual since a male and a female gamete are involved in it. As a result, a genetic recombination is produced. Remember, always, that proportions the 50% of the DNA, and mommy gives the other 50% of the genetic material, getting 100% of the genetic material for the new offspring or baby. The number three, the third question is, what is fertilization? Well, that is an internal process, and embryonic development takes place within the female body for a period of 9 months. As you see in the book, it's saying that the period of the gestation or the production or the growth development of the baby inside the mother's womb is of 9 months. Remember that depending in the different factors that are around, that time can change. Some babies can born in approximately 8 months, and there are other babies that they, for some complications, some problems in the during the pregnancy, these babies can start to birth in approximately the 7th month. In this case, some of those babies have troubles and they need a special treatment by the doctors. So the pregnancy is not a simple process. It has a lot of different things involved, and it's important to be careful to take care during that period of time, during the pregnancy. During that period of time, the women is weaker than in other moments. For that reason, it's important to have a medical control in the pregnancy during the 9 months. Good. The next question says, which are the two sexual reproduction systems in human? The female and the male, right? That's a very easy question. I want to move now to the next point. I want to focus that the male and the female organs have some differences. They perform the same function, reproduction, but they have some differences. Okay, and those differences are important because they are complementary one with each other. They are complementary. So let's go now to see a short video that speaks about that. Okay, in this moment you're going to see that video that speaks. I want to start with the female reproductive system. Okay, and then we're going to see the male reproductive system. Pay close attention to that.
In this video, we will study about the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system can be divided in two parts, the external sex organs and the internal sex organs. Before beginning, make sure to subscribe Math Simplified on YouTube for all the upcoming videos on topics like spermatogenesis, male reproductive system, oogenesis, and much more. So first, let's talk about the external sex organs, also known as vulva in case of females. The external sex organs consist of the mons pubis, which is a soft mound of fatty tissue in front of the pubic bone. The word mons means mound and the pubis refers to pubic bone. The word labia is derived from Latin word which means lip. Labia majora are the outer folds of the skin that protect the other external reproductive organs. They also contain sweat and the oil glands. Labia minora lie inside the labia majora and surround the vaginal as well as the urethral openings. The two labia minora meet at the front and form the clitoris, which is highly sensitive as it contains many nerve endings. Clitoris is homologous to glans penis in case of males. The central part is the vulval vestibule, which contains the vaginal as well as urethral openings. Now let's study the internal sex organs of the female reproductive system. The internal sex organs consist of the vagina and the cervical canal, two fallopian tubes, the central uterus, and a pair of ovaries. Let's first talk about the vagina and the cervical canal. The vagina is a fibromuscular canal which is 10 centimeters long. It is lined by non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. The vagina provides a path for menstrual blood and fetus to leave the body. The vaginal mucous glands provide lubrication. It also receives the male sex organs and the sperms. The cervix is the lower cylindrical part of the uterus. It is lined by columnar cells. It also contains numerous mucous glands which help in production of mucus for lubrication. The cervix prepares the sperms for fertilization and also dilates several folds during the childbirth. Now let's talk about the fallopian tubes. Each fallopian tube is a 10 cm long hollow organ which is made up of 4 parts. The infundibulum is the lateral end of the fallopian tube to which numerous finger-shaped projections known as the fimbriae are attached. The fimbriae pick up the oocyte once it is released from the ovary. The ampulla is the central dilated part of the fallopian tube and it is the most common site for the fertilization. The medial end of the fallopian tube is the isthmus which connects the tube to the uterus. Now let's study about the uterus. The uterus is also known as the womb or the childbearing organ. The fertilized egg implants in the uterus and through a series of changes grows into a fetus. The uterus is 7.5 cm long, 5 cm broad and 2.5 cm thick. It is made up of the following parts: the fundus, body, the cavity of the uterus which is lined by mucous membrane, and cornu or the corners of the uterus to which fallopian tubes are attached. Let's have a brief look about the walls of the uterus. The wall of the uterus is made up of 3 layers: perimetrium, myometrium and the inner endometrium. Perimetrium is a thin layer of epithelial cells that covers the uterus from outside. It is the visceral peritoneum of the uterus. The myometrium is the central thickest layer made up of smooth muscle cells. It has a very important role in childbirth as it undergoes a series of contractions and relaxations which propels the fetus outside. It is main site for development of fibroids and adenomyosis. Endometrium is the innermost and most active layer of the uterus. It undergoes a series of changes throughout the month under the influence of hormones, estrogen and progesterone. It is the site for development of endometrial hyperplasia and cancer. The ovary is the main reproductive organ which is 4 into 3 into 2 centimeters in dimension. The ovary has 2 main functions. First, it produces the female eggs, also known as oocytes. Second, it also produces the female reproductive hormones, the estrogen and progesterone. Looking at the cross-section of the ovary, it is made up of the central medulla and the outer part known as the cortex. The medulla consists of the dense connective tissue. It also contains all the blood vessels, nerves and the lymphatics. The cortex consists of numerous ovarian follicles in various stages of development. These ovarian follicles secrete estrogen. When an ovarian follicle matures and releases a female egg, it becomes the corpus luteum which secretes the progesterone. So this was a brief overview about the female reproductive system. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like our channel on YouTube for all the upcoming videos and make sure to like our channel on Facebook for flashcards and upcoming notifications.
Alright. After watching the video, something important that I want to explain about that is that most of the time the people think that the sexual organs only have one function, and the function is sexual. No, it's not like that. The only function of the organism, the sexual organs, is not only for the sexual intercourse. Of course, no. The sexual organs, in this case the female sexual apparatus, has a very important function in the baby by carrying the baby, holding it inside, helping the fetus during all the development process during the pregnancy. So sometimes we have some ignorance about the importance of the organs in our body. Why this is an organ that must be cared a lot? Because girls, women, in the future, that organ is going to carry a life and bring a new life to this world. So it must be all the time in clean. We have to take care of it. If an infection appears, immediately search a doctor and try to get the medicine necessary to clean it. And the boys are not the exception. Our organ, sometimes we think that it's very strong and nothing is going to happen, but our organ is very important and it's a complement for the female sexual organ. Okay, the vagina and the penis are complementary, not only in the sexual form. I'm speaking about the reproductive point, because the penis helps that most of the spermatozoids can reach the cervix and then the womb and then reach the important point that for the fecundation in this case are the ovaries through the fallopian tubes. So is the male organ important? Yes, both are important, the male and the female organs. Let's see another video speaking about the male sexual organs. Try to pay close attention to it. See you there.
If you keenly observe, every kid has characters taken from the parents. Yes, characters from both mom and dad. Have you ever wondered why this happens? Why do we find random characters in the kids which belong to the same parents? In simple language, we can say that it is because of the sexual reproduction in organisms. Yes, although the logical reasoning can be provided by genetics, we will not really get into the details of it. We will restrict ourselves to the major process responsible for this. Now you may wonder as to how sexual reproduction can be responsible for the variations in organisms. For this, we need to stop by the definition of sexual reproduction once again. Do you remember what it was? Let me help you. Sexual reproduction is the type of reproduction which involves fusion of gametes to give rise to new individual. Now here the term fusion of gametes is the answer to our question. Why is that so? This is because if we say that the zygote is formed with the fusion of gametes, then it means the newly formed individual will have a blend of characters. Thus, in order to learn sexual reproduction, we need to understand the gametes first. Gametes are sex cells and are different in both males and females. Do you know what they are called? Yes, we have come across these terms. The male gamete is called sperm, while the female gamete is called ovum. In order to study them, we first need to take a glance at the reproductive systems. This will give us an idea of how the gametes are produced and help us understand the fertilization process better. So in this video, let us learn about the male reproductive system. To begin with, we take a look at the location where the sperms are exactly produced. These oval-shaped structures on either side are the ones we are referring to. The single structure is called testis, while the pair is called testes or simply a pair of testicles. Now these are an important part of the system and need to be protected, right? So we have a covering of skin over it. This forms a bag-like structure, and do we have a name for it? Yes, the bag-like structure is called the scrotum. So the scrotum is the pouch which contains the testis. Now the sperms produced will have to travel in order to reach the female body. So who will make sure that the sperms are carried outside the testes? This responsibility is taken up by the mass of coils that we can see here. This is called the epididymis and the pair is called the epididymides. The mass then carries the sperms to this single connecting long coil. This is called the vas deferens. Where will the deferens carry it further? Directly outside the body? No, they will carry it into something called as the ejaculatory ducts. But where does the ejaculatory duct head to? It heads to a destination where the sperms get mixed with a nourishing fluid. Wait a second, what kind of fluid are we referring to? And why is it needed here? Basically, the sperms need nourishment to survive. Also, they need to be protected from acidic conditions coming their way. Hence, various glands come to the rescue by secreting a few important secretions. The first one is the seminal vesicle. It secretes a fluid that helps in nourishing the sperms. Can you see this bulb-like structure here? It is the prostate gland which helps in secreting the prostate fluid. Now the sperms floating in the fluids reach the urethra, from where they can be released outside the body. But wait, all the secretions are not yet completed. This P-shaped gland found here gives another important secretion. It is called the Cooper's gland or even the bulbourethral gland. Now with this secretion, the formation of semen is complete. The semen is simply the fluid carrying the sperms. It is carried out by the urethra, which runs through the penis. Now these sperms will reach the female reproductive system, and only one among all will be able to carry out the fertilization of the ovum. But tell me one thing. Looking at the structure of this single sperm, can you guess whether it is a unicellular or a multicellular structure? It is a single cell. Although the structure may not seem to be that of a single cell, the sperm is definitely unicellular. It bears a head region called the nucleus. Then it has this middle part with the mitochondria for providing energy to swim across. But then who will help in the swimming process physically? That's the business of this tail region. The tail helps in the swimming activity. Now we are done with the basics of the male reproductive system. Let me quickly recap the process we saw above. The sperms are produced by the testes. The mass of coils called the epididymis carries the sperms to the vas deferens, which is a long coil. From there, it goes to the ejaculatory duct where it gets mixed with nourishing fluids. From there, it reaches the urethra. And after the secretion from the Cooper's gland, the formation of semen is complete. So what will we learn before the fertilization process? Of course, the female reproductive system. Do watch our next video to learn more about it.
Searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like
All right. Great. Now, okay, good. After watching the video, we understood the great importance of our organs. And we learned something important. The female and the male sexual organs are complementary. And they perform other functions, not only the sexual intercourse. They perform other functions like they are part of they help in the excretory system. And of course, they help during the pregnancy in the case of the female reproductive system. We are going to solve some activities. Let's see. Okay, the two activities to solve at this time in our class will be: number one, draw both sexual reproductive systems, the male and the female system, in white paper with their respective parts. Color it and take a picture and send it to my WhatsApp, pages 108 and 109 from your science book. When you finish, you have to put that page with the date and the topic in your portfolio. Then, the second activity is to make a glossary in your notebook with the following definitions. You will take a picture and you will send it to WhatsApp. Remember that if you're going to make a glossary, it means that you will search the definition of each word and that you will place the words in alphabetical order. Please don't forget to do it. Put those words in alphabetical order. Maybe you don't see some of the words because I have the frame of the YouTube video over there, but don't worry, I will upload the slideshow in the platform in Google Classroom, so you can see all the words without any problem, and you can see all this video. Okay, I will put the link plus the slideshow so you can see it. So the time to do it, don't worry. If you don't have enough time today, you can give it to me the day of the exposition. Remember that we will have expositions. See you soon. Take care and have a great day. God bless you.
No point in blaming you, you did not know. Ah.